Everybody, very pleased to be joined by Greg Powers, head coach for Arizona State. First off, Greg, thanks for doing this. I know you're a busy man this time of the year and either on the road or home, but you always got a busy schedule.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. I'm glad to be here.
Okay, well, we're going to naturally talk about hockey and the season, the way it's going from start to finish. First off, we'll go with your program down there. How's the program going for you down there?
Good. We're in our seventh season as a Division I program. We've done really well playing out of an 800 seat community rink up until this year and made two NCAA tournaments in that process. And this year we opened up a beautiful 5,000 seat, $115 million arena on campus, Mullet Arena. Where we're 5-1 on the season so far at home, and a 5-game win streak, a big win over North Dakota in Las Vegas at the U.S. Hockey Hall of Fame game. So things are going well for the Sun Devils.
That'd be interesting sharing your arena with the Coyotes.
It's been interesting. I think at the end of the day, it's a big plus for us. I think it's a huge compliment that the NHL thought our arena was nice enough to make a temporary home of one of their franchises. And if it's what we have to do to keep the NHL in our market, then we're happy to do it. So it's been really cool to see some NHL teams like the New York Rangers and Florida Panthers and a few others on our ice. And it's good for us because our brand's all over, national television and all the broadcasts. And you can't walk into this building and not know it's not Arizona State's.
Was there any discussion from the NHL saying that we want it solely to be ours and we don't want you to play in it?
No, that wasn't even an option. It's our arena. It's on our campus. It was built for us, by us, because of us. So they're a tenant. They're a guest in our arena, and we're happy to have them. But no, that was never even on the table.
There's a good working relationship between the players of the pro team and your team.
Oh yeah,
as well
absolutely.
as the public.
I think the players and coaches, are the guys that we want to help the most, because this isn't their predicament, right? I mean, they've worked their entire lives to play in the NHL, and now, they're playing in a college arena. So we want to make it as easy on those guys as we can, and as welcoming to those guys as we can, because they're not in their situation because of them.
The game that we're hosting between the Pacific Junior Hockey League as well as the KIJHL, it's going to be played in Chilliwack, and we'll be playing this during the event. But the interesting part about that is that this is the first time that's ever happened between two teams, and the Vancouver Island Junior League is not involved, and they're maybe looking at doing that down the road. But for the players, each team selects players. How tough is that, and how difficult is it for coaches to pick the players to represent their team at these events?
Yeah, I think it's probably really tough. I mean, I would imagine coaches, have to walk the fine line of wanting to stay loyal to some of their players that might be good enough to play on the team, and then players they play against, and trying to figure out what that balance is. It's never easy, but I'm sure they're doing a great job.
Moving forward to the players coming out of this level, what are you looking at, or what are most colleges and universities looking at from the players to go to the next level? What do the players have to do to achieve success?
Well, I think the biggest piece of advice I could give to players at that level right now is try to be the best at your level. Don't worry about what's next. Don't worry about two steps ahead. Worry only on what you can control. And that's where you are right now, where your feet are every day, and be the best teammate that you can, be coachable, and try to dominate the level that you are. Because if you can dominate the level that you're at, the next level will come calling. So, you need to be successful at that level. That's what happened with our program. We were just an ACHA club team for many years, and we were dominant at that level. And so we got the opportunity to elevate and get to the highest level of college hockey, because what we focused on was only what we could control and what was right in front of us. So that's what I tell players all the time, dominate the level and then move on to the next level. Never focus or worry about the next step. Just focus on what you can control.
What about the scouting program that you have at the college and university? How does that work for your program going out? Because it's a big area to encompass to try and entice kids to come down.
Yeah, I mean, we cast a very wide net. We have a lot of Western Canadian kids on our team. We have kids from Chicago, Michigan, Minnesota, out east, and New England. So, we're looking for the best. That's what every college coach is looking for. And you got to be really a really elite player at the junior A level to get to the Division I level. And so those are the leagues that we really scour.
How would you define the different level between junior B and junior A and then going up to major junior? What's a good definition of that?
Well, I think junior B, I've always had a lot of respect for junior B hockey, and you can find some really good players there and players that elevate, to the BCHL or maybe the Alberta League or whatever, and continue to climb up the ranks. But it's really good hockey. It's really good hockey, and especially for younger kids that go in and play junior B, you're playing against older competition, and it's a good way to cut your teeth before you go play junior A. So it's a lot like, U18 AAA hockey down in the States. It's very similar, I think, and certainly, anybody playing junior B hockey right now, you get to look at it as just kind of the beginning of what's to come for you, and again, just dominate that level, and you'll get a chance at the next one.
Yeah, the game has evolved and changed over the course of years. I mean, years back, when you went out and you watched a game, everybody was under the impression there was going to be 17 fights before you ended the first period. It's all changed. It's more of a finesse style game now.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the way the game's going from the NHL down, right? I mean, it's a skill game, and there's a lot of time and space out there, and there's no clutching, no grabbing, no, and that's kind of trickled down to every level. So, fighting, still in kind of a part of the game at the highest level to a certain extent, but in college hockey, there's no fighting, and it's a really up and down skill game. So those are the kind of players you have to go look for. I mean, it's an interesting kind of dynamic where you can play junior hockey where you can wear a half visor, and then you play college hockey to level up, and you got to put back on a full cage. So, it's kind of a weird thing, but yeah, that's the way the game's going today.
We've recently just adapted the rule for the full cage for the players, and there was a little bit of concern from some of the players, but they've adapted, like you say, they've adapted very well.
Yeah, I bet they have. Yeah, sure, it's not a big deal.
No, and that's strictly a safety aspect of it too.
Yeah.
When you look at what you're doing right there for yourself personally, is there a lot of travel with you up and down the West Coast, or just you focus in the U.S.?
Not necessarily just on the West Coast. We travel all over the place. I mean, we go recruit literally everywhere. You name it, we've been there, whether it's been Eastern or Western Canada. We've gone to Czech Republic. We've gone to Sweden. We've gone to Latvia. We have looked in Slovakia, so, and everywhere in the U.S. So, from a recruiting standpoint, we're always, again, casting as wide of a net as we can, and we're looking for the best players. But from a team travel standpoint, we're very lucky that now we have the resources with our arena. We go to Clarkson this weekend, which is all the way out east in Potsdam, New York, and we get to take a charter flight. So, with the elevated awareness of our program and revenue that we're now generating, those are the nice things that we now get to do, is charter flight to Clarkson and charter flight to places like New Hampshire, where, we can leave on a Thursday, play Friday, play Saturday, get right back on the plane Saturday and fly back to Arizona. Where if you fly commercially, you have to leave on a Wednesday. It's another full day of class that the guys miss. And then you come back Sunday and you get back really late Sunday night. So it really saves you 2 days at home and 2 days of classes. And then even more importantly, gets you back a day earlier so you're well rested for the next week.
We recently held up here at the Langley Event Center, as well as the Delta Sun Gun Arena, the World Under 17 Championships up here. Had a chance to talk to Mikko Kapanen with Team Finland, and I asked him the biggest difference between European players and Canadian players, and he said there's two things. He said one is, we're more of a disciplined style game. He said we can get chippy. He said I won't be wrong, but he said we try and play a more disciplined. But he said the biggest difference with European players coming to Canada is the difference for ice surface. How does that affect some players from what you're looking at?
Yeah, it's the weird thing about college hockey is no matter, it depends on where you go. There's no standard ice size for college hockey. So you could go to a place like Minnesota and play on a sheet bigger than Olympic ice, or you could come here to Mullet Arena and play on an exact NHL specified ice sheet, or you could go to a place like Penn State where their corners are very shallow and they funnel pucks to the net, or a place like Omaha where their corners are very deep and wide, and the guy that built that team, Blaze, liked his teams to cycle down low, and they wanted that extra space in the corners. So, there's some college hockey rinks that have benches across from each other, and the home team has the penalty box next to them, so the visitors have to skate across the ice. So, in my opinion, I think college hockey needs to standardize their ice surfaces. So for us, from a recruiting standpoint, we're obviously looking for guys that can play on an NHL sheet. That there's more and more college hockey programs like New Hampshire that have minimized their sheet. Now they're playing on NHL size. So I think within the next decade, we're going to be pretty standardized to 200 by 85 ice.
When you talk about the recruitment, what does your recruiting process look like?
It varies with everybody. Everybody has a different development path, and we have kids on our team that didn't pop till their 20-year-old year in junior hockey, and maybe we develop a need late in our season. We're like, hey, we need a player like that. Or there's plenty of kids that we've committed that were committed to our program for 4+ years, and then they go through the process and they come in when they're ready. So I don't think there's a cookie cutter process per se. You're just looking for really a certain type of kid that fits your culture, it fits your style of play, whether they're young or old. And if you can identify who that is, whether it doesn't really matter when, and that's what you're doing.
How important is it for the player to keep his academic marks up?
It's a necessity. So, you can't play college hockey without being a good student and staying eligible. So with us, it's not even an option. You have no choice other than to perform in the classroom. We believe here at Arizona State that good students translate to good players. So if you're taking care of your life outside of the arena, you're a good student, then your priorities are in check. You're living the right way. You're doing all the right things. So when you come to the rink, your focus is that much higher, and you can be that much better of a hockey player. So if your life's not in order away from the rink, it's never going to be in order when you're here at the rink. So we really believe that. We believe everything you do in your life translates to your success as a player. And one of those, huge things are our academics.
And I'm assuming you have counselors in place to help out?
We do. We have a full-time academic coach here that works with our players daily, manages their study hall hours, manages their tutoring, proctors exams for them on the road when we travel, things like that. So she's very good at what she does, and she's very resourceful.
What makes Arizona State such a great place to play hockey?
Well, we now have the best facility in college hockey right on campus, where we sell out every game and get a great student section and great crowds. And then the guys can, leave every day after practice and go golf.
You can't go wrong with that.
No.
Best of both worlds in both areas.
Absolutely.
So as a past goaltender, how has it changed for you from going from goaltending to playing, or to coaching rather?
Hello, we're calling from on.
Sorry, phone rang. Sorry, could you repeat that?
That's all right. So how does that change from you? I mean, you played goal. That's got to be different. I mean, my daughter's a goalie. My granddaughter's a goaltender, and I would never be a goaltender because I always tell everybody they used to shoot pucks. They shoot pucks at you.
Yeah.
But how has goaltending changed for the goalies in today's game?
Well, I think goalies now are just so much better than they used to be. From technology, equipment, training, the way that they play the game, they're really big, take up a lot of net. I mean, if you watch just videos of, even the 90s now, the goaltending back then as opposed to today, there's a lot more net to shoot at back then than there is now. So there's a lot that goes into it, but I think they're just tremendous athletes, and the position is just so advanced now. And kids are really good goalies.
Technology has naturally helped the game with the breakdown computer systems. How important is it for the coaching staff to focus on working with the players for this?
I think it's great to use as a tool. You never want to lose, your general feel for the game and the human side of connecting with players and using your instincts to coach and putting kids in situations to be successful. I think all the resourceful things that we have at our fingertips now with technology and analytics are great if you use them as tools, but not as the end all be all. I think coaches that still coach with instinct in their heart and connection with players are going to be the most successful.
What made you change your focus from playing to becoming a coach?
I never tried to be a coach, actually. I got out of hockey completely, got into business, and then kind of got roped back in with the club team as a volunteer assistant. One thing led to another. I ended up being the head coach within 2 years and really liked it. Had a ton of success. And now here I am. It's what I do for a living, and I'm very lucky. Not many people get to do what they love. I started doing it for free. And if I had to do this for free, I still would. The day I stop feeling that way, I should probably go do something else. So yeah, I'm very lucky. I love coaching these guys and love being the coach at Arizona State.
You don't have to deal with parents. What do you tell the coaches that have to deal with minor hockey parents that want to really put their son or daughter forward? And how do you tell them to just basically back off?
Well, parents can be an issue. My kids both play minor hockey, and I try to stay in the shadows as much as I can. And the only times I don't is when I see parents getting overly involved and overly opinionated. Coaching's hard. I think that the biggest thing parents have to understand is coaches want to win, right? Coaches want to develop players. So if your kid isn't getting what your kid wants, then you need to train your child to look in the mirror. That's where you get what you want most, is being self-accountable. Coaches don't make decisions because it's personal, because they don't like a player. They do it for the betterment of their team, and they do it because they think they're making the right decision. So I think when people and parents and players really start to grasp that it's not personal, that those problems start to subside a little bit. To coaches, it's simple. It's not a democracy, right? The coach makes the decisions, and if you don't like it, go play for somebody else. That's pretty much as cut and dry as you can get.
You don't just have one coach now like you used to years back. You've got different coaches for different positions, all for very strategic reasons. How does these coaches work together with you?
Well, I mean, you gotta hire people that I think, most importantly, I think the best head coaches are the best CEOs, right? So a CEO doesn't necessarily hire a CFO that knows less about finance than them. They don't hire a VP of sales that can't sell better than them. So as a CEO of an organization, whether it be a junior hockey team or anything, you have to hire people that aren't yes men and aren't just going to say yes and yes and yes. You want to hire people that challenge you a little bit and that you can learn from every day, that can make you better. Alex Hicks is one of my assistant coaches. He played in the NHL for Pittsburgh and Florida and San Jose, and played a lot of hockey overseas in the DEL. And he runs our power play. I didn't play in the NHL. He knows how to run a power play better than me. So you just can't have an ego. Ego is the enemy. You have to be able to manage people and put people and hire people and put them in situations that are going to make your organization successful.
Small town Canada has an awful lot to offer young players. For one example I can think of is Zdeno Chara played up in Prince George. And when I had a chance to talk to him a few years back, he said that he owed an awful lot to his billet family. And I know at where you're at Arizona State, you don't billet players out. But how important is a billet family for the young players playing in Junior B, whether it's the KIJHL or the PGHL or other leagues, Junior B leagues in Canada?
I think that's probably one of the most important aspects for a kid's development is the home life. My daughter is 15. She lives in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and plays for the Pens Elite. And she billets with an unbelievable family. And if she didn't have that family to go home to every day and lean on, and that's across the country, we wouldn't feel comfortable, with her situation. But she does, and we do, because of that very reason. So, my wife and I live that right now, and her experience has been unbelievable, and 80% of it is because she's got a great place to go home to every night. You only spend so many hours at the rink every day, right? So you want your team, your organization, your culture to be great. That's very important. But the majority of your time is spent in a home under the roof of a family. And so to get a good billet family is paramount at that level.
What was it like for you when you met the billet family for the first time, and then not so much just meeting them, but having to leave and realize that your daughter is staying behind?
Yeah, I mean, we were lucky enough to know them a little bit and develop a relationship before she chose them, but and they chose her and allowed that to happen. But leaving her was really hard, because she has never been away from home until this year. So, we're lucky in today's day and age. You get FaceTime and tons of different ways to stay in touch every day, and we do that. But it's a tough thing for families and tough thing for parents to see their kids, leave at an early age to go pursue their dreams. We're happy and proud of her for doing that, just like everybody's parents probably are up there. At the end of the day, that's what it's all about. If you're mature enough and you have that drive and you want to leave at that age, I think it's great.
I always talk about the people behind the scenes, what I call the unsung heroes in the world of sport, and that's the volunteers. They never, ever get enough credit. And for any junior organization, junior B, junior A, whatever, they're the people that drive the program, not just the coaches. So what do you tell people about the volunteers? Because they're, from my mind, they're really essential.
I mean, volunteers at any level are the lifeblood of what you do. You know, you can't operate. I mean, even college hockey and the amount of people that volunteer for our program and just want to be a part of it, and make it better. We wouldn't be where we're at without them. And you can go to a junior hockey game in Western Canada and you see them all over the place, whether it be ticket takers or, it doesn't matter. It's kind of what makes junior hockey up there such a community type feel and kind of a cozy environment to go and scout kids at. And we always notice that. And so, hopefully the players understand how important those people are and thank them every day.
Well, I appreciate your time. It's drawing to a close. I know you're busy, man. You got to hit the ice this afternoon for practice?
We just got off, so we're going to wrap up and have a couple meetings here, then off to Clarkson we go in the morning.
Okay, so for people listening into this right now, let us know or let the parents know and the families what they should look at if they want to send their son or daughter down there and what you're looking at as a coach directly.
Well, I think the biggest thing, my biggest piece of advice to every kid that is listening to this is, again, you set that goal. If you want to play Division I hockey and you're playing in the KIJHL or the VIJHL, whatever, you're playing junior B hockey anywhere up there, master that level. Be a great teammate, be coachable, and try your very best to master that level. Don't worry about what's next. And if you do that, you'll get to the next level. And then you got to master that level and continue on, that way. And, that's what we look for. I mean, there's always late bloomers that come out of nowhere and, late in their junior career, but, the best players are the ones that figure out a way to do it at every level.
Yeah, very much. Well, other than British Columbia, you live in the best part of the world, especially this time of the year right now. We go through a little bit of rain and snow the odd time, but you live in a gorgeous part of the world. Greg, I really appreciate you taking the time to do this on behalf of both the KIJHL as well as the PJHL that are hosting this game next Monday night. So I really appreciate it. All the best and all the best for success for you and the organization down there.
My pleasure. Thanks so much for having me.
Okay, thanks very much, Greg. Have a great day. Thank you.